Hi, how's it going? So today I'm filming a video of some of my most beautiful picture books. Um, Almost all of them are from my own shelves, from my daughter's collection and my collection. But I think I have like one from the library that I've been thinking of lately. I'm actually thinking of purchasing it, but yeah. And then I have 3 honorable mentions I'm saving for the end of the video that are kind of like, they're kind of weird. Well, 2 of them are kind of weird, and one's just like, it's cool. So it's not really like in the beautiful category. And I wanted to focus on 10. Yeah, so let me get started. And I think I'm going to title this video like more beautiful picture books, because I'm going to link it if you guys are interested. If you're watching this video, if you haven't seen it, you might be interested. I made another video like this. So this is kind of part 2 of like 10 most of my most beautiful picture books. So I'm going to link it if you're interested. So yeah, so let's get started. So the first one is The Worm and the Bird. I hope you guys can see this good on camera. It's like a cloth cover, and it's by Coralie Bickford Smith. And I am on a path to collecting all of her work. So this is my newest one by her, The Worm and the Bird. And it's just a simple picture book, a story of a worm and a bird. It's a little bit philosophical. The end kind of took me by surprise. It's like, there's not much room where I live. The worm feels almost claustrophobic. And all the earth around me is filled with life. I am always searching for space, and everything is in my way. And you can tell it has like metallic, like the artwork is like metallic, and it's just really beautiful. I'm not going to say what happens, but it's like, deep below the earth, worm dreams of having more space. There's not much room down there. Above, bird waits through sun and rain and wind. And as the day goes on, they both find what they're looking for. So my favorite book by her is The Fox and the Star. And I have that book also in my collection. I think it's in that first video. But her work is just gorgeous. And I think this is a really beautiful book. So that's the first one. And then the second one is a wordless picture book called Flashlight. It's by Lizzie Boyd. Sorry, the sun's not too bright today. It's kind of gloomy, so I'm hoping you guys can really see the illustrations. So this is a wordless picture book of just a little girl who's like kind of like camping in her backyard, and she has a flashlight that's kind of shining on all these different things. It's just a really beautiful story, wordless story to just kind of get lost in. Should I say story? It's kind of, oh yeah, and it has cutouts. It's kind of more artsy. It's not really like a story. I guess I used the wrong word, but it's just kind of a lot of things to kind of like, what is she looking at now? What does she see? You know, it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, it's just really pretty. So I hope you guys can really see. So yeah, it's all about nature. It's really, yeah, pretty. Okay. So the next one is Just One Little Light. This one is written by Kat Ye, or Y-E-H, I'm not sure. And then illustrated by Isabel Arsenault. So Isabel Arsenault, I believe I'm not sure if she's only an illustrator. I think she does create her own books too, but this time she's the illustrator. So Just One Little Light. This was a new picture book I purchased in last year. And it's kind of an emotional book. It's like, if you are afraid, just take one breath and hold these words safely within. Your one little light cannot light the whole sky, but it is enough to begin. I love the little dedication Isabel Arsenault says. It's like, to leaders small and big, young and old, who are not afraid to take the leap for generations to come. And her illustrations, it looks like she uses a lot of different mediums. They're very rich with texture. Always, okay, remind yourself you always have a light. It's very encouraging, and I love it. I, as an adult, really like looking at picture books. My daughter, she's 11, and she never checks out picture books from the library anymore. Maybe occasionally she'll check out like a nonfiction picture book, but she's just, reading middle grade and YA. But I still bring a lot of picture books into our home from the library, and I'm always looking for picture books when I go to bookstores and like checking them out. And it's just something I just have always loved since I was a child. And even though she's 11, I'm still like going strong with picture books. So I love the idea that you guys are watching, whether you're watching to purchase these or check them out or just look at the video for your own young readers or for yourself. Maybe you don't have children, but you just like love them. So I think that's awesome. Like, I don't think you're ever too old to enjoy a picture book. They're just magical. Like, they're just so unique, Okay, so this one's also by illustrated by Isabel Arsenault. I'm sorry that I keep saying Elizabeth. Isabel. Okay, written by M.H. Clark. Now, this one is called You Belong Here, and it's just gorgeous. You are a dream that the world once dreamt, and now you are part of its song. That's why you are here, in the place where you're meant, for this is right where you belong. A lot of the work that Isabel Arsenault does, I've noticed, even as just like an illustrator, she always, not always, but most of the time, she takes on really interesting projects. Like, a lot of times the books that she illustrates are very like emotional and interesting, and I almost like everything she does, which is rare because a lot of illustrators, do a variety of work, which is fine. But I noticed that like she does, like, it seems like she really chooses particular projects, and maybe that's just like my opinion. I don't know if that's true, but I really love the work, the authors she chooses to work with is what I'm trying to say. And like I said, I think she's also like an author illustrator. I need to check my shelf, but I have other books by her that I've shown before. The stars belong in the deep night sky, and the moon belongs there too, and the winds belong in each place they blow by, and I belong here with you. This book would be a really good gift for like a child or like someone special, or just like to buy for yourself. Like, it kind of like makes me feel like maybe I'm reading this to myself, like if I don't feel like I belong or something. I don't know. It's like, I really got it with my daughter in mind, but it's just like comforting. All about, yeah. Look at that. It's like beautiful. The way she illustrates. The crickets belong in the old stone wall, and the bees belong in the clover, just as winter belongs in its place after fall, before the new year starts over. Okay, so that's the fourth one. So the next one, and I've shown like most of these books in various videos, but I thought it'd be nice to do it all in one video. So this is The Most Beautiful Thing in the World. This was actually my favorite picture book of 2023. It wasn't printed in 2023, but I discovered it, and it's by Vivian French, illustrated by Angela Barrett. And I believe it's influenced by, I think I went over that in my other video, and now I forgot. But I believe it's influenced by a famous, like an older fairy tale. Let's see. Does she say it? It's like a retelling that Angela Barrett mentions, who's the illustrator. I wish there was a little bit more about it being a retelling, but yeah, I think I did some research on it. I can't recall, but it's a retelling supposedly of this fairy tale. And the illustrations are just phenomenal. And I kind of like really like loose, kind of not abstract, but like I kind of like very loose kind of expressionist type illustrations usually. But this is like an exception for me. It's very detailed and it's very rich and it's very realistic. But the colors are so soothing to the eye. I'm really drawn to it. But usually I like a little bit more like kind of loose illustrations. But this is more like almost like photorealistic. And almost every illustration looks like a painting. Like, it looks like it could be like a frame and a painting hanging on a wall. The care and the detail that went into these illustrations is just phenomenal. And basically, it's about a family say family, like a king and a queen who are looking for like a husband, if you want to call it, for their daughter, and they want the princess, and they propose that the whole kingdom, like everybody, like brings them something that is the most wonderful thing in the world to prove to them like that they're worthy or whatever of their daughter. And then it's really interesting what happens, because it's kind of like, I don't want to give it away because I think it's kind of a really rich story, so I don't want to give it away, but like it's just like a really interesting story what happens about what is the most wonderful thing in the world. Like, really, look at that, it's just so gorgeous. So this one's a little bit more like, it's just like the whole 2-page spread is the image, but most of them are just like kind of fit cropped on the page. But it's just really pretty. If you like fairy tales and stuff like that, I think you'd really like it. Okay, so the next one is actually a nonfiction. So it's a nonfiction. It's like, well, it's like a picture book biography. So this is Fiona Robinson, The Bluest of Blues, Anna Atkins, and the first book of photographs. It's really pretty, the way it's just printed. So I actually got this book for my daughter. Like, we kind of reviewed it with art, and it's just everything about this book, like even just the silhouette, the layout is just gorgeous. And it's all about this real person, Anna Atkins, who made the first, what are they called? I should know. Cyanotypes. So cyanotypes are more commonly known as sun prints. So she made the first, I believe, book of cyanotypes, if I'm saying that, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. But it's just gorgeous learning about this real person who was really interested in like nature, and she wanted to document, you know, like what she was seeing, and she created a book. It's really good. So you could use it for science, you could use it for art, or you could just like read it because you're just like love beautiful picture books or picture book biographies. There's so many things you could do with this book, and I'm glad that we have it in our collection. So this is usually what they look like. I bought some of this paper. We did some of these prints one time, like sun prints, my daughter and I was gonna pair it with this book, but then we ended up just doing it separate. But I thought it was nice to show her, you know, the history. So yeah, so I wanted to include this. It's beautiful. Okay, so I have another wordless picture book. This one is called Pool, and I'm probably gonna mess up the name, so I'm gonna say Jihyeon is the first name, and the last name is E of the author, illustrator. For those who want to swim freely in the world. This book is kind of about being shy or like an introverted. So it's all about this kid who like wants to go swimming, and then look how crowded. This is like, I cringe at stuff like this. Yeah, like he sees all these people and he's like, no. Okay, no. So I totally relate to that. No, I would not want to go in this crowded pool either. And but he ends up going in it anyway, I believe. But so it tells, like, you know, I don't want to give it all away and stuff like that, but he ends up going in it anyway. But it's just like I don't want to tell the story. And then he meets another kid. So yeah, it's just beautiful. It's also about using your imagination. Okay. So the next one is a vintage one. I wanted to include one older picture book from my collection because I don't know if I've ever showed this book, and it's pretty rough shape. I think I got it like pretty rough shape as it was at the thrift store. I kind of love that though. I love books that are kind of like, I feel like I'm rescuing them or something. I don't know. So this is Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely Present by Charlotte Zolotow, and then pictures by Marie Sendak. Okay, so this is all about a little girl who wants to get her mom a gift. It's her birthday, and Mr. Rabbit is going to help her. So look at that. It's just, I mean, Marie Sendak, I love Where the Wild Things Are. That's like one of the most beautifully illustrated picture books in my opinion also. I didn't pull that book for this video though, because I was going to go over 10. I don't remember if I showed that one in the first video, but that's also one of my favorites as far as illustration. But yeah, it's just beautiful. Look at that. It also reminds me of like an English painting, very like 18th century-ish, and like just something you'd see hanging on a wall. Look at that. I love this. It's so pretty. So yeah. When was this printed? Does it say? So it was printed in 1962. It's just so nice. I really love stories also about people like searching for gifts, and I love that. So, okay. So the next one is kind of weird. I didn't know what to call it. Like I'm putting it in this picture book video, but it's technically like a chapter book, kind of. This is A Skull by John Class. I know this is a very popular book, but I just had to include it because I just love it. And I feel like I'm just going to fit it in any video that I can. It's one of my favorite books of last year. And it's kind of a picture book, but I don't know. But I'm including it. It's, yeah. So this is like, let's see. I don't know if you'd call it, you know what? I don't know what it's considered. I don't know where they have it at the library either, but it doesn't technically have chapters. It has like parts, kind of. I would consider it, yeah. As an adult, I bought this book for myself. That's how much I loved it. This is an old story. It's about a girl named Attila who runs away. It's also about a house in the woods and a skull who lives there, and a secret the skull has, and the night that Attila finds out what the secret is. So John Klassen is just phenomenal. There's not one book that he has made that I don't love the illustrations. He definitely has a distinct style. And I love the black and white and the gray. And he uses like mostly cool colors. And it's just awesome. I love this book. So yeah, it's about a little girl who kind of like runs away, or just like is scampering through the woods or whatever. And then she finds this like old house. So it kind of has like a spooky vibe, but then it also kind of has like a surprise element to it. And then it's just really interesting. It's hard to categorize. It's just, if you like John Klassen, if you like kind of interesting, quirky books, go check it out from the library right now. I don't know how to describe it other than to say it was so good. And look at that. It's just so, I love his illustrations. It's just so quirky. Yeah, whatever it is, I wanted to put in this video because they do technically have pictures, illustrations, and it's just gorgeous. Okay, so that is the 9th. Then I have one more, and then I have 3 honorable mentions. The last one is technically a nonfiction illustrated book, but I still thought I'd include in this video because it's gorgeous. The cover is really pretty. It really draws you in. Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature, written by Rachel Williams and illustrated by Freya Hartis, Harts. So this book, I'm actually thinking of purchasing it and using it for my daughter's homeschool education. I'm thinking maybe we might use it as like a drawing prompt book. I kind of was thinking it'd be nice if we don't use it for drawing, to maybe just read it every day, like kind of just like a cute little, it's all about nature and like the cycles kind of nature. A bat goes hunting at night. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of just like we haven't been doing a lot of nature stuff and a lot of reading about like nature books. We did a lot of like biology and like animal studies and nature studies and like younger grades with my daughter. Like we checked out a lot of books like that from the library when she was younger. I kind of felt a little bit nostalgic for a book like this, and I thought this would be a nice book to just kind of look at and get lost in and just kind of take a break. And that's I guess the point of it, the mindful moment thing about kind of just, like being aware of nature and just like watching things like this for real when you go outside, and then also it's nice to see it in a book if you don't see it in real life. So kind of like taking a break. So yeah, so that is my 10th one, and now I'm going to show you guys the honorable mentions. Okay, so the first one is technically beautiful, but is an adult. It's definitely an adult picture book. It is The Blue Aspic by Edward Gorey. This one's a little bit darker. A lot of his work is like that, you could say. And he didn't technically write books from what I read. I'm not a Edward Gorey scholar or anything, but from what I read, I think he mainly made books for adults. I believe I read that he has like a few books made for children or illustrated by him, but technically he didn't really make books for kids. And this one's definitely on the darker side, but the illustrations are gorgeous. It's dealing with this woman who is in an opera and this man who's kind of obsessed with her. And it's like Jasper Ankle stood all night in a drizzle to buy a third gallery ticket for La Vengeance Posthume. I'm not know how to pronounce the name of the opera, but look at the illustrations. It's very, all of Edward Gorey's illustrations are gorgeous. So I really thought I should include this in the video. Oh, I want to collect more of his work, and then I'm going to do like a giant Edward Gorey video. Nobody will probably watch it. I don't know how many people, I know some people probably that watch me like him, but yeah, like I probably will get hardly any views, but that's okay because I love Edward Gorey. So I want to collect a little bit more. I believe I have 6 of his books now. I would like to get 10. And then, oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. I would like to get 10, and then I'm going to make a video. My library doesn't have any, so I always have to like buy them online. But yeah, so that's my first honorable mention. It's beautiful. It's an adult picture book, and it's like very dark. Okay, so the next one I would call cool or like interesting, whimsical illustrated. This is Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. So designed and illustrated by Shirley Kaplan, adapted by J.K. Ross. I found this at a Half Price Books, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to buy it. Look at that. I just love black and white. And it has like a pink page ends. And then, so I read it a few weeks ago. And of course, it's like a very shortened version of the novel. I read Oliver Twist last year. And I really love Dickens. So I was like, I have to add this to my collection. It's just like an interesting, illustrated Dickens. I love how you can see the texture of the drawing and like the gestural movements of the artist making the marks, and it's just really cool, and I'm glad to have it in my collection, so I thought I would include it in this video. And then this one is just weird. I wouldn't call it beautiful. I don't know if I've ever shown this book before, and I keep saying I need to show it in a video. Maybe I have. I can't recall. I've made so many videos between this channel and my old deleted channel. But okay, The Teeny Tiny Woman, a Folk Tale Illustrated by Margot Zemach. Zemach. I don't know how to say her name, but okay. So it's so cute. Look at it. It's a teeny tiny book. I would love to find more books like this. Okay, so this is a perfect book we read during Halloween. It is a quirky little story. Once upon a time, and it's like wordplay. Once upon a time, there was a teeny tiny woman who lived in a teeny tiny house. It reminds me of the house that Jack built, kind of. In a teeny tiny village. Now, one day, this teeny tiny woman put on her teeny tiny bonnet and went out to take a teeny tiny walk. Now, I don't want to say what happens and spoil it because it'll totally give it away, but she finds something really weird. It also reminds me kind of the skull. She finds something really weird, okay, and then she gets freaked out kind of by it, and then, like, yeah, it's just really cute and interesting. And it's just, it's just so weird. Yeah, and that's her sleeping in her bed finally, but I just love it. It's weird, and I just had to include it. So yes, so thank you so much. If you got value out of this video, I would love for you to like it, follow if you're not subscribed. I make videos like this periodically. I make a lot of videos of illustrated books. So have a good day or night. Thanks so much. Bye.